Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to World Microbiome Day talk. So, since its inception, the World Microbiome Day in the year 2018, it has captured the imaginations of scientists and public globally. So, I'd like to extend my warm welcome to our director, Dr. KB Hebbar, who chairs this session and who is instrumental in organizing this meet. Next, I'd like to invite and welcome the expert, Dr. Yogesh Shouche, or Professor Yogesh Shouche, who is Deputy Director, Scan Research Trust, Bengaluru, and Honorary Scientist at NCCS, that is National Center for Cell Science. So, in a short while, I'll be giving a brief introduction of our invited expert. And I would like to welcome all the PC POMs, all the heads of the divisions, scientists, and research scholars who are assembled here. Also, I would like to welcome all those participants who have joined online from other ICR institutes, ICMR, IITs, NITs, NITE, MDRF, Amity University, NIFTM, CFTRI. We would like to extend our warm welcome to all of you. Now it's over to Director for the introductory remarks.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me congratulate each and everyone who is directly or indirectly involved in this World Microbiome Day. I think since 2018, on June 27, each year is celebrated as World Microbiome Day. I would consider this as for all of us, it's a very nascent field. Till recently, nothing much heard about. Otherwise, I think these microbes, they may not be visible to our naked eye, but the change they bring about or the response they bring in, either in animal or plant system, it is enormous. I think they are more powerful than the atomic energy, I think. So, be it an animal system or a plant system, I think both outside as well as inside, they are doing a lot of job. I think a lot more need to be understood. And we don't know much about the animal system, but coming to the plants, sir, I would like to tell you, I think our all ICR institutes, Indian Council of Agriculture Research Institutes, they are being reviewed quite frequently. I think these days, I think almost in every institute, when those institutes are being reviewed, I think one or two questions would be there on
I hope we have not lost the connection.
Oh yeah, it looks like that. I thought some problem with my this thing, but then I saw others active, so I thought the problem is at their end.
Dr. Murli, are you there?
Yeah, there is some connection issue, sir.
Okay.
Is it okay now, sir?
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Or it is okay? Now it is okay, sir?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I think, sir, I was just talking about the importance of this microbiome. In fact, in every forum, sir, in the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, that is being talked about. And you know that now, especially during this climate change era, I think a lot of importance is being given to these microbes, both in soil as well as in the plant system. So, especially other day, we had a wonderful talk on this endophytes,
Yeah.
and therein we have talked about how these endophytes are perceiving different kind of signals, transducing and eliciting the responses at both at genetic and physiological and biochemical level. It is very well elucidated now, and they are doing a lot of, in fact, in terms of health of the plant, they are contributing a lot. So in that context, I think it is very, very relevant. And this year's theme for this World Microbiome Day is feed the, uh, yeah, feed the microbes. Yeah, feed your microbes. How diet shapes your gut microbiome. This is an important thing, sir. In fact, now we are developing various value-added products. In fact, one of the value-added products by which our Dr. Murli Gopal, who has worked, that is the sap from the inflorescence, and he had shown that it contains a lot of these prebiotic microbes, which are very helpful for our health. And like that, we have n number of products in coconut, and the future target is to come out with this nutrigenomics. So how we would be developing different kind of products which would be helpful for our health, and they would impart tolerance to various kind of uh, diseases and everything. So I think today, sir, your topic, in fact, feed your gut microbes right and be healthy. So I think it is highly relevant, sir. I think very interesting topic. And I saw your biodata also. It is also exemplary one. I think you are a pioneer researcher. In fact, you worked earlier in IMTech. I think our people should know what is IMTech. IMTech means that is Institute for Microbial Technology, which is at Mohali and Chandigarh. After that, you worked also in NCCS, that is National Cell Science Center for Cell Science at Pune, another reputed organization. Right now, you are in a trust that is SCAN. Then I was seeing that what is this SCAN? That is science knowledge for aging and neuroscience. There again, you are dealing or heading this microbiome team. I think, sir, we would not have expected any other pioneers than you to talk on this very auspicious day on that International Day of Microbiome. Sir, I think all are now eager to listen to your talk. I think after that we will have some interactions. So now the floor is yours, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I would like to thank Dr. Murli as well as the director CPCRI for giving me this opportunity. And it's indeed a pleasure to talk to all of you on the occasion of World Microbiome Day today. So I would now like to share my presentation. So yeah, let us see if I think it is getting shared now.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. The
so
only thing is that it should be put in slide mode, sir.
yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. Uh, okay, yeah, I think it is. Yeah, yeah. Now it is in slide mode, I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. So it's indeed a pleasure to be here and giving this talk on the occasion of World Microbiome Day. And director has already told you what is the yeah, he has already talked to us about what is the World Microbiome Day, but and I'll just reiterate it once again that this World Microbiome Day is being celebrated for last since 2018 on 27 June we celebrate a World Microbiome Day, and it is basically to raise awareness about the importance and diversity of microbial world, and to share our knowledge about microbiomes and their immense value to humanity and the planet. And this particular year, the theme of the World Microbiome Day is Feed Your Microbes, How Diet Shapes Your Gut Microbiome. And what I'm going to talk to you is in the tune of the main theme of the World Microbiome Day today. And considering the diverse crowd of students and people from different disciplines, I have tried to keep my talk to a basic level, and just to give you overview about diet microbiome interaction and how it is useful in some way for us to develop better health related solutions for human beings. So that is how I have planned my talk, but I'm open to any further questions, interactions after the talk. So coming to the definition, so the word microbiome comes from micro and biome. So these are all the Greek words. Micro means something which is not visible to eye, and biome is the word that indicates living world. So it is basically a small living world of small organisms. And what are these microbes? So when we talk about microbes, what all it includes? So it obviously includes bacteria and archaea, and mostly when we talk about microbiome, we talk about bacteria and mostly bacteria and very little about archaea. But nowadays, people also talk about fungi and protozoa, but largely all the research that has been done so far on microbiome is restricted to primarily bacteria. And of course, it includes viruses also, both DNA viruses, RNA viruses. And today, there is a lot of interest in, especially in the human microbiome, there is a lot of interest in viral component of the microbiome, both DNA and RNA viruses, and people are trying to extract information about the viruses from the metagenomic data to know the virus composition and the possible effect the viruses may have on our health. That is an upcoming topic of research today, and people are trying to have various means of studying these viruses. So, and when we talk about microbiome, it is not just these living organisms, but it is their products also. So these products directly affect our health. So when we talk about microbiome, we talk about products of these microbes, and we talk about their proteins, lipids, polysaccharides, their nucleic acids. And so that's why when we talk about microbiome today, you will hear various omics. So when we are talking only about DNA, we talk about metagenomics. When we are talking about proteins, it is proteomics. When we are talking about lipids, it is lipidomics. When we are talking about small molecule metabolites, it is metabolomics, so on and so forth. So it encompasses entire range starting from nucleic acids to small molecule metabolites, and more techniques are being developed to study all these molecules in details. So science has come a long way in this. It started somewhere in the early part of this century, and in the last 2 decades, we have come a long way in understanding the microbiome and their functionality. When we talk about human microbiome, it is considered as the biggest thing in biology after the Human Genome Project, which has extraordinary human health implications. Because I'll come to that in a moment. So, and when we talk about human microbiome, all our parts of our body harbor its own microbial community. So it includes nose, it includes mouth, it includes vagina, it includes skin, and many other organs which are not listed here. So today we also know that upper respiratory tract and ears, nostrils, all of them have their own microbial community, and which has effect on our health and well-being. But the largest part of microbes is in our gut, and that's why lot of the large, the most of the studies are done on gut microbiome. And obviously gut is important because is the most important organ of our body, and in our Ayurveda also it is believed that everything starts in gut. So gut is the most important organ in the body, and that's why a gut microbiome and its association with diseases has been studied a lot. But interesting thing is when it comes in terms of diversity, in terms of microbial diversity, skin is probably as diverse as gut, if not more. But in terms of number of microbes that are present, the gut has the largest number of microbes. Recently, there are publications which say that there is a crosstalk between gut and skin microbiome. So gut microbiome decides the composition of skin microbiome. There is also some studies on correlation between oral microbiome and gut microbiome. And people are trying to draw correlation between gut microbiome and oral microbiome, because as you understand, the studying gut microbiome, though technology wise it is easy, but practical reasons it is difficult to study, in the sense that you will yourself understand that getting a fecal sample from a individual is rather difficult than just getting an oral swab. So people are also trying to develop use oral microbiome as a proxy to gut microbiome, but these studies are all in infancy, and we cannot say anything confidence at this moment. So gut microbiome, as I said, that it has many important functions in our body: development, epithelial turnover and blood flow, immune system maturation. Most important function is energy utilization, production of micronutrients and short chain fatty acids, which are the important regulators. There is a lot of correlation between the health status and short chain fatty acids, propensity to diseases like diabetes and obesity and short chain fatty acids. It also blocks colonization with pathogenic bacteria, and one way is physical blockage, second way is production of some compounds, and then pathogenic bacteria develop some mechanisms to evade this blockage by commensal gut microbiomes. And the drugs which are consumed orally, they are also metabolized by the gut microbiomes and change the efficacy of the drug. So it plays a lot of important roles in our body, and it varies globally. So if you look at the global distribution, the microbial diversity varies across the globe in different geographical region because of the diet, because of the weather, because of the genetic composition of the population. The microbiome composition varies, and India is no exception to that. India is actually very special because in terms of dietary and genetic diversity, India is at par with the rest of the world. What I mean by that is, if you look at the diversity of the entire world on one side and the diversity within India on the other side, they are equal. So within India, diversity is as much as the diversity in the entire world. And that's the reason the microbiome structure in entire India is very different. The pan-India, I'll just make a passing remarks to that, but the pan-India microbiome study, which we had undertaken, it shows that the diversity across the country, the microbial community composition across the country is not same. It varies in different parts of the country. So that is a fact which we should be remembering when we talk about microbiome-based therapies and interventions. So earlier, when we were talking about human health, we were talking only about host genetics and lifestyle. Today, we also include microbiome as a factor that affects human health. And there are various factors that affect the microbiome composition, but diet is the most important factor that affects the microbiome. So the what you eat decides your gut microbiome, and then this gut microbiome utilizes the compounds from your diet and then converts them to other molecules, which some of which are beneficial for your health and some of which are not beneficial to your health. So there is a very complex interaction between your diet and the gut microbiome. Diet in turn defines the your gut microbial composition, and in turn microbes act on your dietary compounds and produce metabolites that affect your health. So, and host genetics also plays a role in that. So it's a very complex interaction about which we have started to understand little bit in last couple of years. And what I am going to present to you is whatever we have understood from the limited studies that are available. And I would also like to emphasize the fact here that in Indian context, there are very little studies. What we do is we kind of extrapolate the information from the literature available done in other countries, but in India, in-depth analysis of diet microbiome correlation or the effect of different dietary factors on the gut microbiome composition is lacking, and there is need to undertake such large-scale studies for Indian population today. The effect of the major effect of diet on gut microbiome has seen during the evolution. So the studies that have been done on tribal population across the globe and some of the studies done on the fossils that were recovered at different places very clearly show that as we moved, changed our lifestyle and moved from hunter-gatherer to agricultural to industrial to processed and food and sanitization, the gut microbial diversity started to decrease. So at hunter, even today you see that hunter-gatherer population has the largest diversity. When we go to rural agricultural population, the diversity is reduced. Urban population still reduced, and higher class of the society which use the, especially in the Western countries, who consume a lot of processed food, there the microbial diversity is minimal and they have the highest health related problems. And that is the situation where we are today, that the altered diet during the course of evolution has affected our gut microbial population in a wrong way. And there have been studies that this alteration at one point becomes irreversible. So in the experimental animal studies have been done, which shows that constant consumption of processed food or junk food alters your gut microbial population irreversibly. So even when you change to good diet, the healthy microbiome is not reduced. And this is something which is alarming for us, which fortunately for India, the situation has not gone to that level. And we are at the right juncture where if we take proper recorrection measures, we still have a chance to recover our microbiome and maintain our health. So that is a point which I would like to emphasize at this stage. So the effect of this change in diet, what has happened is that when you consume the standard high fiber diet, which is again our traditional diet of Indian population is high fiber, low sugar, low fat diet. When you consume that diet, you have a healthy microbiome and you get protection from lifestyle diseases like obesity and coronary disease and any other disease, metabolic disorder for that matter. when you consume the processed diet, the you reduce the microbially accessible carbohydrates, that reduces the microbial diversity and metabolic output, and this leads to the uh, higher incidence of metabolic disorders. And I think these two slides kind of summarize what I want to say during my entire talk, that if you want to be healthy and want to have a healthy microbiome, you should consume a traditional diet which consists of high fiber, low fat, low sugar. Occasionally you can go for diet which is fast food, but that should be in moderation. Otherwise, if you continue to do that, you will be damaging your gut microbiome and your health irreversibly. That is the gist of what all I'm going to say today. In the remaining part of my talk, I'm just going to emphasize this point by telling you more about microbiology and the functions of the gut microbiome. But these two slides kind of summarize what I want to say in my talk today. So the gut microbial community has been associated with lot of physiological functions and diseases. So I mean, it's again a very complex side. So when you have disease, there is a increased TMAO production, reduced short chain fatty acids, increased cardiovascular disease, increased gut inflammation, and the healthier condition, you have lower inflammation, increased short chain fatty acids. So and all this is controlled by your diet and the microbiome. So gut is the organ which controls your health, and diet and microbiome put together, they control the gut health. So that is again a very important point. And what we understand today is the any organ, not just gut, contains three types of organisms: symbionts, commensals, and pathobionts. And as long as they are in harmony, you are healthy. If that harmony is disturbed by certain infections, antibiotics, or genetic factors or environmental factors, which include diet, the pathobionts increase and you get dysbiosis. So the whole attempts to bring back the healthy condition is to push this equilibrium back, reduce the number of pathobionts. You can do that variety of means. And again, diet is one of the means by which you can reduce the number of pathobionts and make a healthy gut. So it's very simple that in order to become healthy, you have less of pathobionts. In order to have less of pathobionts, you change your diet and have a healthy diet. So again, everything comes back to the diet. And microbiome is involved in variety of health-related activities. And again, no need to emphasize that good diet will ensure good microbiome and all good for your body. So maintaining the healthy microbiome through the healthy diet is important to maintain your health. And if you don't do that, you enter into variety of metabolic disorders. The list is incomplete here. Today, almost every disease is associated with microbiome alteration or dysbiosis. So the list is much larger. Here I have shown only those diseases where sufficient amount of information is available to emphasize the point. And then that has today led to the precision medicine, which is based on microbiome studies. So again, it emphasizes here that there is a diet and microbiome, there is a very strong association, and you can use this diet microbiome association for the prevention of the disease. You can use microbiome for the diagnostic purposes, early diagnosis of the disease. You can use microbiome and diet combination as a therapeutic measurement, and this leads to personalized nutrition. So since microbiome is individual specific, the diet also becomes then individual specific. And a classical example of this, we are trying to replicate this study ourselves right now, but a classical example of this was a study published some 5, 6 years back, which was a kind of landmark study, I would say, though it is known by common sense, but this study emphatically proved that point. So in simple words, what was done in this study is that it was some 800 individuals from Israel. They were the detailed blood test was done on them, the questionnaire was done, anthropometric measurement, and with a mobile based app they were asked to maintain a food diary. And they obviously they had this continuous glucose monitor. Here the blood sugar is monitored every 5 minutes for 15 days, and they kept a record of diet and any physical activity, amount of sleep, typing of sleep, exercise, these, that, all was recorded, and the microbiome samples were taken during the study. And the data was put together at the end of the study, and what they found was that the post-meal glucose levels were different in different individuals. So they were not same. For the same dietary component, the glucose response was different in different individuals, and that was based on two things. Obviously, one is genetics, but it also depended on the microbiome composition and the combination in which the food was taken. So to translate into the simple words, that if you consume one bowl of rice, the blood sugar level will not be identical in everybody after 1.5 hours. It will be different in different person depending on the genetics, the microbiome composition, and what is the combination in which the rice was taken, whether it was a curd rice, dal rice, sambar rice, chicken rice, mutton rice, fish rice. That combination will decide your blood sugar level. And this is a kind of basis for what we talk of personalized medicine today. So today, even in India, doctors do not prescribe a random diet, same diet to everybody. They ask the patients to monitor their diet and CGM levels, and based on that, the diet is recommended. There are many other studies based done after that, more detailed studies where the response to the diet and microbiome was analyzed in much greater details to develop predictive models for recommended diet based on microbiome composition and the individual's genetic background. I mean, they do not do actually genome analysis, but they use the empirical information drawn from the challenge meals. So the science has moved much ahead after this study, and today a more detailed information of health response to different diet and the microbiome is studied before recommending a particular diet to a particular individuals, and that practice has come to India also now, so which is a welcome thing. But this is what has led to the what we call as personalized nutrition and personalized diet today. And I mean, this is the information which is drawn from general literature. No information is available on Indian population so far. So the microbes that respond to the diet, so different microbes respond to the diet indifferently, and their effects on our physiology. So you will find promote inflammation, promote generation of TH17 cells, promote short-chain fatty acid production, TLR activation, anti-inflammatory effect. So Akkermansia is considered to be a good organism in Western population, and it has anti-inflammatory effects. And so many dietary components that affect the health that has been studied. I'll revisit polyphenols in a moment, because polyphenols are present in many dietary components. So I'll revisit polyphenols in a moment. But many dietary compounds are shown to have effect on microbiome and on the health. So there are some generalized studies that have been done. This is a kind of review. The study shows that plant proteins increase bifidobacteria, lactobacilli. They increase short chain fatty acid production and increase the gut barrier and tracts and reduce inflammation. As against that, animal origin proteins increase Bacteroides types, Bilophila, Immunococci, and decrease bifidobacteria, and they reduce the production of short chain fatty acids and increase the production of TMAO, resulting in increased CVD and IBD. So unsaturated fats increase Streptococci, Lactobacilli, Bifidobacteria, Akkermansia, and then there is increased reduced TLR activation and bad inflammation. So unsaturated fats are good for the health, as against saturated fat increases bacteria, Bilophila, Faecalibacterium, and they high effect on insulin sensitivity. In some cases the results are complicated, so I'll just quickly summarize this. This I have already said: animal protein, plant proteins, high fat, low fat diets. So again, the information is not available on Indian diet in this study, but the Western high fat, high sugar, low fiber diet decreases bifidobacteria, lactobacilli, eubacteria, increase Bacteroides and enterobacteria, and it increases inflammation has increased risk of cardiovascular disease. As against that, Mediterranean diet increases bifidobacteria, lactobacilli, eubacteria, Bacteroides, prevotella, and reduces the health of cardiovascular disease and inflammation and also obesity. So these are the generalized studies available on the diet. And if you look at the specific components of the diet, so there have been studies done on polyphenols, and this study was done on many polyphenol containing foods. So all these foods were included in the study, and you can see that food items like black pepper, onion, garlic, they have the highest composition of polyphenols. So what generally turned out from this study, this was the latest study, that these polyphenol containing foods do affect the microbial taxa in the gut. And in general, what is observed is that if you consume these food items containing higher polyphenol, then they support an environment where the opportunistic bacteria and the bacteria that promote inflammation are lesser in number. So you have less infection causing bacteria and less inflammation causing bacteria are present in the environment that is created by consumption of food that is that contains habitual consumers of high polyphenol containing foods. So polyphenols are good for the health. I am not talking about fermented foods today because that itself is a very big topic, and obviously it has been shown that the consumption of naturally fermented food has health beneficial effects. So naturally fermented curds, naturally fermented foods like idli and other foods, they promote the growth of healthy gut microbiome and have positive effects on the health. A lot of information is available on that, and it could make a topic of a separate talk. So I have knowingly excluded the fermented foods from today's talk. I'm talking about the other dietary compounds. So curcumin, when we talk about spices, curcumin becomes very important in our diet, and it has definitely shown to have lot of beneficial effects on the health, which are also modulated through microbiota. Besides its general health beneficial effect, it has also shown to have the gut microbial modulation by curcumin is also shown to be beneficial in the diseases like myasthenia gravis and Parkinson's disease. So it definitely has positive health effects on our health. it has been shown in experimental animals as well as in some trials. It has been shown that it has health beneficial effects which are modulated through microbiota. So now coming back to India, what is the situation in India? I'll quickly show you that. So I have already said that we had tremendous diversity, dietary diversity, biogeography, and genetic diversity. And we have been studied microbiome in health and diseases. I'm just going to take you through this very quickly so that there is sufficient time for question and answers. So I'm not going to talk about all the diseases. I'm going to just summarize the diseases. So what we have seen is that the alteration, age-related changes in gut microbial population in India are different from what is seen globally. And most importantly, the microbial community structure of gut microbiome is different from West, East, and even African gut microbial population. And but this study was done on one part of the India, so that paved the way for pan-India studies. And so it is different from any of the three continents, and it's marked by higher abundance of a genus called as Prevotella and Megasphaera. So globally, if you see, the Prevotella is not, it's neutral and it is not abundant in Western population. But in India, not only that Prevotella is abundant, but Prevotella abundance changes during diseases like obesity and diabetes. So I'll show that in a moment. So it is marked by a higher abundance of Prevotella and Megasphaera. And when we look at we studied, I'm just going to give you an example of one disease, that is diabetes. And we studied here three groups: non-diabetics, pre-diabetics, and normal individuals, those who are diabetic for more than a year, newly diagnosed diabetics, and pre-diabetics. And all four have in terms of microbiome composition, they have distinct microbiome. So, and when we look at the different taxonomic hierarchies, we find that Prevotella, as I said, that it is an important component of gut microbial population in India. So in healthy individual, non-diabetics, it's highest in number. As we move from pre-diabetics to diabetics, the number decreases. And after the treatment is started, the number increases, but not to the same level as those of healthy individuals. So Prevotella has an important functional role in the gut microbial population of India, and that needs to be studied in detail. So the pan-India microbiome study that we had undertaken at NCCS has emphasized this fact that Prevotella is abundant across India, and it has a very important functional role, and this role needs to be investigated in details to develop India-specific microbiome-based solutions. We also saw that Prevotella, Akkermansia, and Bloschia, they are positively correlated with antioxidant capacity and lower blood sugar levels and acylated hemoglobin, and negatively correlated with higher blood sugar. So Prevotella, Akkermansia, and Bloschia, they are associated with the healthy status. This was also brought about in our study when we did this in diabetics. So besides that, we have also studied celiac disease and kidney stone. I'll not get into details of that, but all these studies indicate how the microbial the dysbiose is associated with depletion of certain microbial communities. In kidney stone, we have also studied one lactobacillus species which is associated with lesser abundance of kidney stone, and we are trying to promote that as a possible probiotics to reduce the propensity of kidney stones. This I'll skip nasopharyngeal microbiome and these other studies that are going on. Neurological, we are studying here Parkinson disease and microbiome association, and developing microbiome based therapies for the alleviate the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. And this, for in order to use this information for the benefit of Indian population, we need to understand what is a healthy microbiome of Indian population. So for this, we had undertaken this study. Unfortunately, it started just before the onset of pandemic. So it took a longer time to complete this study, but now the study is complete and the results will be available soon. The publication will come through in another 2 months. So here we had taken 4 geographic regions of India and 17 communities, and we had analyzed gut microbiome and dietary habits of these individuals. I'll not get into the details of this, but this was done in collaboration with multiple institutes. So here for the 17 communities, in addition to microbiome, we have also studied their lifestyle, and for certain fraction of individuals, the genome has been also studied. And as I have told you some time back, the results indicate that the microbial community structure across the India is different in different parts. So the definition of what is healthy microbiome is not same for entire India. It would vary north, south, east, west, different places. Depending on the diet and the culture, the healthy microbiome would vary. And if we have to come up with the microbiome-based health solutions, we have to bring region-specific solutions. A single solution would not suffice the entire India. And same is true for diet-based solutions also. So in order to recommend a healthy diet, I believe that that diet has to be based on the conditions, the local conditions. So you cannot recommend a dietary component to a South Indian person, which is a normal dietary component for the North Indian person, and vice versa. So this fact should be kept in mind while making the dietary recommendations also, because different diet will have different, since the microbiome composition is different in different parts of the country, the dietary component would also have a different effect on the gut microbial population. So this fact should be borne in the mind when we talk about dietary recommendations for different people living in the different parts of the country. So this is what the project is about: whole genotyping, dietary habits, microbiome, combining all these informations and proposing India specific solutions. So these are all my students who had worked on the part which I had presented so far. These are the collaborators, because microbiome work cannot be done without collaborators. You need to have clinical partners to help you with the samples and doing other analysis. And also we for the Pan India project, we work with anthropologists to understand the dietary habits across the country and then design our study. So some of the studies on diabetes and neonatal health have already been published, and the Pan India microbiome results would be available soon. So thank you very much, all of you, for your patient listening. And I think I have kept sufficient times for now any question answer sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think all would agree with me that it's a wonderful talk, very informative.
Thank you.
You made it so simple, sir. A common person like me who doesn't know anything about microbiology, I also could understand a lot, sir.
Thank you.
I think it was very informative. And you have taken through all through our body and finally landed in guts. You said that guts is so important for our health and for well-being, and the kind of diversity you also mentioned, because India has a lot of diversity as far as gut microbes is concerned. That is one very important thing. And then you said how difficult it would be to study, to do research on this aspect. That is also very, very important. And you also highlighted that it is in nascent stage as far as India is concerned, our understanding. So that also very important for all our, I think, young colleagues here to do more work on these lines.
Yes.
One or two things, sir. I felt one is, I think you talked about that fat. Like unsaturated fat means it is very good, whereas saturated fat may not be that good. But I think since we have been dealing with this coconut, where that oil is mostly saturated, but now the uh, finding is that though it is saturated, since it is a short chain, it is one of the good oils. We need your opinion as far as this microbiome is concerned. The second thing, one of the statement you made that if one is from South India, if he is given a North Indian diet, then microbiome may not quickly adjust. But these days, I think it is so happening. People keep moving from one place to other places. How this microbiome of the gut might get affected. So I think this is another thing we would like to know. Actually, you are since you are the expert on that. So these are the things, sir, from my side. I think then we will open the floor for others to ask the questions also.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So I'll go one by one. So your first question about coconut is, see, I mean, I fully agree with your point. Actually, the coconut oil is, there are some reports which have said that coconut oil is good for health. But as I had mentioned during my talk, that the what I presented was the summary of the literature, available literature, and those studies are all done on primarily European and American population. So it is erroneous. I mean, for our population, those results are going to be erroneous because gut microbial population of Indian community differs dramatically from them. So the effect of all these components on our gut are going to be different. We need to study that. Without that, following those observations blindly without seeing in our population would lead to erroneous conclusions. And that is a point which I am trying to make, that all these things, especially the things which related to our diet, we should do the study and find out what is good for our health. So we should not depend on the available literature from the studies done on Western population. So that was my answer about the point on the coconut. And yeah, these migrations from across the country, yeah, I mean, you see, it's a little complicated question, but it is definitely true that when a person moves from one place to another place and there is a dietary changes, it does alter the microbiome, and this microbiome alteration may not be always good, because you would often find that persons, they within India also, they move and they change their diet, they start getting some gastroenterological problems. Although this has not been studied in details from that angle, but there are these frequent observations. And again, I would say that these are the things which we need to study. I mean, we have followed certain things without getting into the basis of that. But these are the questions we should try to answer ourselves, that somebody moving from Delhi to Chennai and changing the diet, what is happening to that person? Whether this diet change and the microbiome alterations that happen during this are beneficial to that person, or in a long term that is going to cause some harm to the health. These are the things which we need to study. And then when the results coming out from such microbiome studies that we have taken, solution to that, if, I mean, I am just hypothesizing that if it is seen that there is a damage to gut microbiome, then the solution would be the microbiome bank that is developed in NCCS. The isolates from that microbe bank could be developed as potential probiotics, and then you use this as a supplementary to your diet so that those harmful effects are controlled. So these are all the things which would come out from our pan-India studies which we started at NCCS.
Thank you, sir. I think now,
I think there are some questions in the chat box.
yeah.
One by Dr. Prakash Halami is there, which seems to be.
I am unable to hear that clearly. So,
Yeah. Now I think one question, sir. How useful is the diversity of Indian gut microbiome through, although we suffer with maximum lifestyle diseases?
these two are two separate things. Okay. Uh, so, gut is again an ecosystem, and in the ecosystem diversity is always good. And I gave the example of hunter gatherer population where the diversity was maximum, and the lifestyle diseases are, I mean, as they are called as lifestyle diseases, they are outcome of changed lifestyle. So the reason why we get such diseases is because the changed lifestyle has resulted into changed microbiome, and that is one of the causes for the disease. So if we try to, again, that is the aim of the one of the aims of the NCCS study which we had started, was to have microbes isolated from healthy individuals as a repository, and then this could be developed as a either as a consortium or as an individual microbe as a therapeutics. So okay, your microbiome is altered because of your lifestyle to a situation where you are more likely to develop this lifestyle diseases, but can you correct that by having this single microbe or a consortium in the form of either a tablet or some solution, and delay the onset of the disease? So that is the purpose of this study, is that yes, the lifestyle diseases on the rise because of the change in lifestyle. Certain changes in the lifestyle are inevitable, but at least then you can make efforts to change the microbiome, not only through the directly giving microbiome as a probiotic, but you can also make dietary changes to promote the healthy bacteria in your gut. So that is the whole purpose of carrying out this pan-India microbiome study.
Sure, sir. Next one is, we have any attempt to conserve the unique gut microbes of Indians?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have partially answered that question. So at least at our level, the NCCS project level, what we had done was two major components of the study, where besides urban population, a rural population, and also the tribes which we believe had no exposure to any of the modern lifestyle nuances, those were included in the study. And in rural public, we believe that the consumption of junk food is not as rampant as in urban population. So still we expect that and the studies prove that the microbiota is not altered to that extent, and the pristine tribals is, of course, they have the healthy microbiota. So the isolations have been done from these samples, and today a few hundred isolates are already available. There'll be few hundred more coming up. Those would be characterized and to see their physiological effects, and based on their genomic information, they would probably bend. I mean, of course, the entire work cannot be done at NCCS alone. So others should come up and characterize these microbes further to look at their health benefit attributes. And then, as I said, those could be available as probiotics, mixture of probiotics. That is one side. And secondly, in future, the correlation of dietary component and gut microbiome composition, those studies also should be done, so that we develop diets that promote the healthy microbiome in a variety of ways.
Thank you. Acha, Dr. Murli Gopal wants to ask.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you very much for the nice presentation and your clarifications. Sir, as an agriculture scientist, to reduce wastage, we are now focusing on developing processing, food processing. And we understand from your talk that processed foods are not so good. How can we overcome? We need to do food processing to reduce wastage, to help our farmers. But at the same time, as a consumer, we may be facing health issues. How can we manage to strike a balance? Then one more question, my colleague, Dr. Subramaniam, wants to know, sir. He is head of the division of crop protection. His question is it advisable to consume supplements or microbial capsule? So is it advisable to consume supplements or microbial capsule? Which one he is asking? Supplements or the microbial capsules? Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you. So I'll again answer question one by one. So regarding your first question, when I say processed food, it is the food with lot of preservatives. I mean, that's what I mean by processed foods. The kind of junk food or the ready to eat things which you get. I meant that. I presume when you're talking about processing the food, you're talking about a different kind of processing. So that processing, we do not know how it will affect the microbiome, but the food which has artificial preservatives and all, the kind of detrimental effect that have, the processed food which you are talking about would not have. And second solution, I mean, the second part of this answer is, again, if this processed food is now complemented with either dietary component that promotes the growth of healthy bacteria, or with a suitable microbial probiotic that will reduce the severity of the on the health, if that this processed food indeed has. But this is not true for consumption of junk food and ready to eat food. It may not be true for, but in some cases it is applicable also. So again, when people develop this highly processed ready to eat food for astronauts, we are trying to work with ISRO that if that food is also supplemented with healthy probiotics, then that will reduce the some of the gastrointestinal problems that astronauts have at times during the longer space flight. So it's a combination of all these things. Now coming to the second question of supplements. Actually, if you have a good balanced diet, the food supplements are really not required. I mean, unless you really have a deficiency of some vitamin or something, in my opinion, then and then only you should go for food supplements, and there is no need to go for food supplement as a regular this unless there is a known deficiency. Secondly, about the probiotics, the major problem of commercial probiotics today available in the market is that they are not developed from indigenous population. So they are mostly Western or Japanese strains, which would have very little health benefit effects on Indian population. But in the extreme cases, they may be useful. But in a long run, and in a normal situation, the best way is to have probiotics from natural sources like naturally fermented food like curd and other fermented foods that we consume. That is good enough. In extreme cases, when there is a very serious gastroenterological problem and alteration of gut microbiota due to some infection, antibiotics, the probiotic capsule consumption may help. But even there, in my own personal experience, the consumption of naturally fermented curd helps better than those capsules. This is my own personal experience.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we will ask anybody who is interested from the audience online or anything to please raise your hand so that we can identify you and let you in to ask the question, if anybody is there. Otherwise, I will ask our director for any of it.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
yes.
Yes, sir. Can I ask the question, sir?
Yeah, please.
Please identify your name and from where you're working or ask. Yeah, please.
Okay. Myself, Dr. Jayaprakash Verma from
You are not
BHU,
very clear. Hello.
and
No, yeah.
I want to ask.
You are not clearly audible.
My voice is not clear.
Now it's okay.
Hello.
Yeah, now
Yeah,
it's
now it
okay.
is clear. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Myself, Dr. Jayaprakash Verma from BHU.
Yeah, please.
Sir, my question is that, sir, for as a capsule, as a probiotic, I think so you have told that yes, suppose if you have developed capsules for, suppose some healthy diet has the so costly and poor people cannot bear to take some fruits and other healthy diet. So I think, sir, we can develop for the capsule for the as a probiotic things for the those and cheaper we can develop to poor people and other can be taken as a improve on gut microbiome. So, what is your opinion, sir? If you are, we can.
First of all, I do not agree with the statement that
Yes.
healthy diet is costly.
Yeah.
Here, the healthy diet does not mean that what is marketed as healthy diet. You know, here when we are talking about healthy diet, the healthy diet means the traditional diet which we have consumed for generations.
Okay.
Whatever your and my grandparents, grandparents said. So that is not expensive. In
Yeah.
fact, the shift to the westernized diet is more expensive. So by healthy diet, I do not mean that you go to market and buy organic labeled food or something like that. No, healthy diet is your tradition. Even fruits and vegetables, it is always recommended that whatever grows in your area is the
Yeah.
one which is healthy for you. So you again don't have to go to the supermarket and buy exotic fruits and vegetables, avocados and broccoli for good health. Whatever is available in your local market, I mean, depending on the area where you are, your locally available fruits and vegetables are good for your health. So I don't agree that healthy diet is expensive. So having said that,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course, the probiotic capsules, if one can develop and all, that is definitely good for health.
Yeah, I think so in the future, I think, sir, may be required due to lot of food pesticide and insecticide contamination. So many cancers and other disease is increasing. So I think one alternative as a probiotic capsule maybe in the future indigenous microbe can be developed for, sir. I think so.
There are, okay.
Dr. Nambudri, sir, any question? Our previous director, Dr. K.U.K. Nambudri is there, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
No, what am I to say? I am not a microbiologist. But I do watch with a very great interest the advance made in microbiology, both for agricultural field and the human nutrition. As was said, the junk food is known to be the main cause of some of the health issues coming up. And unfortunately, the parents are also very happy to order for fast food so that the children are kept happy and they are quiet for some time. But on giving the children to their fate as far as their health and nutrition is concerned. As was mentioned in Dr. Yogesh's very nice lecture, the information from human population is very limited and scanty. So I hope the importance of this field will be recognized and there will be more enthusiasm in this field for our good. So thank you, Dr. Hebar and Dr. Murali for inviting me to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There are some questions in the chat.
Chat is there. Some
Can
more
we take those?
Yeah, please, sir.
So there is one question on microbiome related mental disorders. So yeah, so like many other diseases, there has been association between microbiome and mental disorders. So it has been shown in Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson disease, ASD, that is autosomal, sorry, not autosomal, autism spectrum disorders. So not only the microbiome dysbiosis has been shown, but also in some cases, probiotics have been found to be useful in these diseases in reducing the severity severity of the disease. So, and in we ourselves at SCAN are working on Parkinson disease, trying to find out the microbiome alteration in Parkinson disease in India, and try to develop microbiome based solution for that, including early diagnosis based on microbiome alteration. But many other, I also gave example of myasthenia gravis. So there also microbiome alteration has been seen in animal models. So lot of studies are going on neurological disorders and microbiome alterations and microbiome based therapies for that.
Next chart.
Yeah, there was also a question. I mean, that was a basic question. Difference between prebiotics and probiotics. So probiotics are the live organisms which you use, and prebiotics are the dietary compounds that promote the growth of good organisms.
Yeah. Some big question is there.
Yeah, somebody has asked about microbiome affecting infertility. So again, there is a hypothesis. It has not been proven, but some people believe that the semen microbiome or endometrium microbiome has to do something with the infertility, or the endometrium microbiome also has been implicated in frequent I'm not getting the word, abortions, the frequent abortions, if the endometrium microbiome is suspected, but today it has not yet been clearly proven. People have this hypothesis, and there have been studies where such a correlation has been shown. I mean, when I mentioned, that was the thing which we were that time trying to look at the, if serum microbiome is semen microbiome is responsible for some of the cases of male infertility, because when all the genetic causes for infertility are ruled out, could the remaining cases be justified by semen microbiome composition? But that study is not yet been completed.
One more question is there down.
Entire Northeast has consumes, they ferment everything under the they ferment vegetables, they ferment fish, and they eat, and they have a higher gut microbial diversity because of the consumption of fermented foods.
They ferment arecanut and also then choose.
Yeah,
that is also there. Sir, one question I wanted to ask, because I think I read somewhere that this Mediterranean diet is considered as the best diet. Is it true, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it is considered, it is said as a best diet because the studies on its health benefit have been done. In our case, I'm sure that in many cases, Indian diet would also turn out to be a good diet if we do a proper study on that. I mean, that if you go back and look at the traditional diet, it's a very balanced diet, having proper this thing of fiber, protein, and carbohydrate. So, and it has a seasonal variation also. So if we need to do this study, I mean, the detailed studies on its effect, overall effect on gut microbiome and health, we may be able to prove that that is also a good diet.
Thank you, sir. I think you have given a wonderful talk, and there were a lot of discussion also. I think very lucidly answered to all the questions. I think if there are no more questions, I would request Dr. Murali Gopal to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. At the outset, I would like to thank our director, who immediately agreed that we should have this World Microbiome Day talk, though we know that it's a very nascent science and lot is to be done on that. So once he agreed, the first person who came to my mind was Professor Yogesh ji, because we have few contacts earlier, and sir had immediately agreed that he will be happy to present a talk. Today, I think this may be one of the first World Microbiome Day talk in ICR system, sir. So I thank both our director and Professor Yogesh for giving us an opportunity to have this talk. Sir, we had many people who had joined from different institutes. We have all our scientific staff and many contract staff who are with us hearing to you. Your lecture as our director had told that even for a non-microbiologist has been clear and lucid, and we are understanding that how the food we eat, though it's well known, there's a saying, what you are is what the food you eat. So it's a well-known fact, but now with scientific details, it is coming out. And I want to thank Dr. Nambudri, who is always, as usual, he has that humor in his talk, but still very serious presentation he does. His questions are always very incisive. I thank him for joining, and those Dr. Verma also from BHU, and then many others, sir. Again, on behalf of our director and of all of us, I want to thank everyone for this meeting. I want to thank profusely Dr. Yogesh, sir, for presenting your talk. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And it was really a pleasure to talk to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to thank my colleague, Dr. Ramesh, sir, who has been helping me in getting things up and ready for this meeting, and all our staff, supporting staff who have helped for this arrangement of online presentation. A last minute YouTube request was there from IARA, and we could arrange that also. We hope it will be useful for the students and the future scientific community, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.